Hello everyone, I'm Trilok Haldunia. Today we'll be discussing about the random function. We'll try to see how it works and we'll try to solve the different assignments related with the random function. So let us start.
Okay, so first of all, we should understand what is the random number. Okay, so random number is a number which is generated from a large set of numbers through a particular procedure or an algorithm. Okay, uh, we should consider that random numbers should be picked like this, that nobody can predict what will be the next random next number. So another thing we have to consider, that it should not repeat. Okay, now we can take one particular example of the dice, where if we roll a cubical dice, then in that case we can get random number between 1 to 6. So here one important thing, that 1 to 6 is very important. So we have to provide a set of values from which we want to get a random number. So set of values we can provide through a range of numbers, through a sequence. Okay, so that all we will see in this. Now we will see how we can create random number in the Python. So you can see here that there are some specific functions given in the random module of the Python programming language. First of all, the number one is the random function. The random function will generate a random number between 0 to less than 1. So the number will be a float number. Definitely it will be a float number. If we want the float number between one particular range of values, in that case we can apply this particular method. Right, we can it's a kind of trick, you can say, that we are multiplying the random number with the u minus l, where u is the upper bound and l is the lower bound. Okay, and plus l will start the random number with the lower value. Okay, another way of getting it is the random function dot uniform function. Uniform function is there, that you can also use to create the floating random number between the given range of values. Okay. Another function is the randint function. So randint function basically gives the integer random number from lower bound to the upper bound given. So we will have a range of values, out of which it will give a particular integer value. Another is the range function. So see, range function, it can take three parameters: start, last and step. So start is the starting value, last is the value up to which we want to create a range of values. Okay, and step is the value by which we want to step the next values. Okay, from the start to the last. So here we have to keep in mind that last will not be included. So the number range will be from start to last minus 1. If we do not see another version of it, range and last. So if we are giving only the last, not giving start, not giving the step. So start will be by default from 0 and stepping will be by default from 1. Another function which is also very important is the choice function. So through the choice function we can pick a value from the sequence of values given. The sequence we can give in the form of list, in the form of tuple, in the form of string. Okay, now we'll see it practically how it works. So let us take, first of all we have to import random. Okay, so import random. After we have imported the random, all these functions what we have discussed, we can access these functions through the random dot function name. Okay, so we'll go with the first function, which is the random function. So if I write like this, random dot random, okay, simply we are using the random function. So what will it give? It will produce a float number between from 0 to less than 1. So it will be definitely it will be a floating number. You can see like this. If you try it another time and execute it, you will find the another random number. Okay. Now we'll go with the second one. This is the second version where we want to create a random number between a particular range. We want to create a float random number between a particular range. So what we will do, we will multiply it. For example, we want to create a random number between 1 to 5. Okay, so 1 is our lower bound, 5 is our upper bound. So u minus l. So 5 minus 1. Okay, plus 1. So it will give us a random number between 1 to less than 5, and that will be a floating number. See. So here we get 4.680 like this. So if another time we execute this, we will get another number. So like that we can get the floating random numbers also. Another very important for the exam purpose is the randint function, because mostly it is coming in the board examination. So randint function, so we'll use it, we'll see how it works. Okay, so randint will create a integer random number between the given range of values. For example, if I give 1 to 5, okay, so what will it it takes automatically the stepping by the 1. Okay, so it will give, and both 1 and 5 will be inclusive in this case. 5 will also include. Okay, so we will see it. So it will give the random number between 1 to 5. So randint will give simply a number between the start value to the last value, both inclusive. Okay, another function we will check out, rand range. Okay, so here I have given this rand range. Okay, so 1 to 5. So in this case, how it differs with the randint? It differs in the randint that the values given are similar, but 5 will not be included in this case. So it will create a range of values from 1 to 4. It will create a range of values from 1 to 4. Okay, so we'll try to run it, and the stepping will be by default from 1. Okay, so another time we will try to execute this. So it will give us the value like this. So 5 will not be there in any case. Okay, see, if I give the values like this in the reverse order, so what will happen in this case? Since the increment is by default done by the 1, stepping is by default done by the 1, so it will give us the error. And if we want to correct it, we have to give it some step value in the negative form. Okay, negative number we have to give in the step value. So if we give like this, then it will work. So in this case, the change you will find that 5 will be inclusive, because it has become now the start value, and the last value, this 1, will not be included. So values will be from 5 to 2. Okay, so we have to keep it in mind. Another, we will take the example of this, like for example, if I give the values 10 to 50 and I want to give the values of stepping by 4, for example. So what will happen? So it will give us the values, okay, from 10, 14, 18 like that. So sequence will be like this. So rand range we can use without the start and step value also. Step value by default is 1. Start value by default is 0. Okay. Now we'll the choice. So first of all we'll take one tuple like that. For example, this is choice. So I'm going to make it as a. So what I did here, I have created a tuple of all these 3 values. So now this 3 values is the set of values from which we will get a random number. So 10 we can get, okay, next time 50 we can get, like that. So only these three is the set. So any one value can be picked up from this number. We can see another example of a list also. So you can use a list of values. You can take multiple values like 10, 20, 30. Okay. So list and tuple, you know that these can have multiple values of different data types. So all kind of values will be considered and one will be picked up randomly. Okay. So you can see like this. And you can also use string in this selection process of random number. Okay, so if I have given like this, for example, I have given A, B, C, D, E, F, G, for example. So what will happen in this case? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So string is basically a set of characters. So each character will become a value for the random number. So it will give us a particular character in the form from this sequence of values. Okay. So there are different ways, different uses of this. So hope you understood how it works. Now we will take some examples for the board exam purpose. So let us discuss this particular example. So the question is asking that we have to predict the output from the given options. There are 4 options given, and also we have to give the minimum and maximum value for the variable x. So the query is divided in the 2 parts. So 1 mark will be for the correct options of outputs, and 1 mark will be for the minimum and maximum value of the x. So what happens? It is basically output finding. In the output finding, we have to go through all the statements carefully and find out the values, how it is reflecting in the form of output. So we'll go through this. So import random, then L. L is a list of which has 3 values. Okay, 10, 7 and 21. So index of 10 will be 0, 7, 1 and 21, 2. X random dot randint 1, 2. So here another randint function is there, y. So x is there and y is there. So 2 are there, but we have been asked about the minimum and maximum value of the x. So we will get it from here only. So randint 1, 2. So it will give us the minimum value 1 and maximum value 2. So we got our answer here and we have to write it in the answer. Okay. Now we'll go to the next part of this particular segment, code fragment, for I in range x. So see, the x value will be taken from the upper this particular statement, and it can be 1 or it can be 2. So we have to take both the cases and we have to execute this function. So for example, if I want to execute it for the 1, so if I take it as range 1, so how many times this loop will execute? It will execute for the 1 time, once. Okay. Now y random randint 1 x. So if the x value is 1, in that case randint 1 to 1. If the x value is 2, then it will become randint 1, 2. So in case 1 to 1, it will generate random value as 1. In case of 1, 2, randint 1, 2, it will create random value from 1 to 2. So in any case, you will find that 0 is not created for the y. Okay, and the print statement has this ly. So y is the index. So index value 0 will never be there. So at the value of 0, we have the value 10. So wherever 10 is there, that option automatically goes out. Okay, so 1 and 3rd will not be the answer because it is having 10 and 10 will not be there. Now can we get this one? $7. So if it executes once and we get this value, yes. So it can be the possible output. and it can also be the possible output. So second and fourth is the answer. Okay. Now we'll go to the next example. See this example, second example we'll see. Here the thing is more complicated because we have two for loops, but there is some syntactical error you will find in this, that this print statement, and first of all this I is capital here, and here this I is in small, as it is a case sensitive language, so this I will not be identified by the interpreter, so it will give an error. Okay, another thing, if we consider following that there is no error in this code, then how it will work. So see, this print statement, so when we are finding the output, we have to focus on the print statement, print I comma and is equal to space. So space is the separator for the print statement, so it is not going to the next line for the printing until we are getting this particular print. And see the indentation of this print statement, it is out of the both inner and out for loop, so it is not part of inner for loop also, outer for loop also. So in this case no answer option is the correct answer. So according to this particular code, the answer is none of these. Okay, if this print is given in the alignment of this indentation of this particular inner for loop, in that case it becomes a part of outer for loop, and in that case we can get the options. Okay, so in that case what will happen, the I will go in color means red, it will go for the red, next will go for the green, next it will go for the blue, the next for the white. So it will go in the order only. Okay, now J in the range 1 color pick value can be from 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if it goes 0, then the range, then the inner for loop will not execute. If it becomes 1, then also the inner for loop will not execute. It will execute only in case of 2 and 3. It will execute in the case of 2 and 3. Okay, so for the 2, if 1 to 2 is there, then it will execute once, and for 3 it will execute twice. So it will never execute for the 3 times. Okay, so this one also become wrong in that case. Okay, so like that, and we can find the I value is fixed here. So when the print goes, the I value will be fixed. So red, green, blue, white, in the order it can come. Okay, so red, green, blue, white, it can also come, but this will not come. Okay, red, then green, white, it may not come. Okay, so like this, another one example. So we are discussing about the 3 different kind of questions that comes in the board examination. This is the simple one. Import random, x is equal to random dot random, y is equal to random dot rand int. So see, upper one x is using the random function which will give 0 to less than 1 in the float. Okay, now in the print int x means we'll get a float number, okay, from 0 point like that, and it will give always 0. So the print option, the first value would be 0 always. So there are 2 options, first and fourth. So it will have the 0. So these 2 are directly not possible outputs. So first and fourth may be the case. Now we'll see whether this 0 and 3 can come. So here you can see that y plus int x, and y value can be 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0 and 3 can be the can come in the possible output. So first and fourth is the correct answer.
So hope that you understood the concept of the random function, and I hope that you would apply this and practice more with the assignments, the questions that comes in the CBSE board examination. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.